Hello, McCastle here. Today we're going to be taking a look at some of the updates to the Create add-on, Create the Factory Must Grow. There's a few things that have changed since my last video. If you haven't watched that one yet, that one's very detailed, goes into a lot of different things on all of the features. This one we're just going to cover what's been updated since that video. There's been two major updates since then. And a big change for one of the blocks, the Pumpjack, which is, I get a ton of comments on this. So we're going to go over what's changed, how we're going to use it, as well as a few of the other things that were added and changed. So let's dive right in. All right, so as you can see, I've got the industrial pipe that runs down to the oil deposit at Bedrock. And I've just got a creative motor here. So we need a lot of the similar components, but it actually is a lot more customizable, free. There's a lot more you can do with the Pumpjack in terms of how it looks and things like that. I mean, it still functions the same, but it uses a slightly different block. So we still need this Pumpjack base, but as you notice now, it isn't necessarily directional. You don't have to have it pointed in one direction, which is extremely nice. We use the steel trusses in the middle. I believe you need a minimum of 2, but you can actually make this a little taller. I tested out. I went up to 4. I did a 3. It all still worked. And then you make a machine input. The nice thing about this is it doesn't matter which way it's pointing. So I have the motor underneath. You can have it come in the side or whatever, as long as the input side is facing wherever your rotational force is coming through. And then you're going to take the Pumpjack crank and stick it on it. You can see it's already starting to move. And then we're going to take this Pumpjack hammer holder. We're going to place it here on top of our little tower. We need to make these hammer parts. And we're going to take a look at these because these are new. The recipes are slightly different. These all basically stay the same. The Pumpjack hammer part, you just take a steel ingot, put it in a stone cutter, and you're able to get those out. The Pumpjack hammer head is 2 steel blocks and a heavy plate. And then the Pumpjack hammer connector is one of your hammer parts with 2 aluminum ingots. So if we come here, you need to put the head over Pumpjack base and the connector over your Pumpjack crank, and then just connect it with these hammer parts. All right, so if I come here, you can see it works where you can use the whole extend thing, which is nice. I'm gonna put the head on it and then just add the connector here on the back. It doesn't automatically start going because we actually need to glue it together. So you'll see as soon as I glue this together, it's gonna actually assemble. And there it goes. And now we're getting oil. A lot has changed on this. Like I said, you can actually customize this quite a bit. So there's also now a large variant of this. So if we go into a creative menu here, you stone cut the Pumpjack head and it gives you the large one, and then the connector, the exact same thing. So you can see this is set up very similar. We'll do 3 high this time just to show that it doesn't matter. Set that there. Put our machine input here. Pumpjack crank. Now the bottom parts are all the same. Doesn't matter if you're using the small parts or the large parts. So if we come in here, you'll see these have the extension just like the other one, and then the connector in the back. Now, one thing when I was first testing this out, it wasn't working. I tried to do this to make it look nice, but if you have more than one head on here, it doesn't work. So this is actually the proper assembly for this, but I want to show that you can do, even with this one over here, as long as it has the head, the hammer parts, and the connector on it, it'll work. You can actually add to that though. So if we come in here, let's just add some iron blocks just because I want to make this look bigger or whatever. Now if I glue this together here, you'll see that that whole contraption actually works. So you can create a different head here. You can do some different things there with it to fit your aesthetic or whatever you might want, right? And as you can see here, it all assembled. This model actually changes, which I think is really cool to fit the size. And there you go. So that is the Pumpjack changes. I know a lot of people were confused because what I showed in the video didn't match anything on what the new update had. So there's that. So let's go dive in. There's a few things that were actually added, which I think are pretty cool. So let's go take a look. All right, so the first thing we're going to look at here is we're actually going to look at the compact engines. So these are basically just compact versions of the other engines. They've got kind of built-in exhaust. You don't have to worry about that. On top of that, they're only 1 block wide, so a lot less required. You just have to input fuel. Now, obviously, the stress and the speed and other things like that are affected as well. So there's 2 versions of this. There's the low-grade fuel engine, and then there's the compact engine, right? So the low-grade fuel engine is, as you see here, is 4 spark plugs. Like I said, that exhaust is built in. You get andesite casing, and then aluminum pipe with 2 iron ingots. And then the compact engine is an engine base, the exhaust, 4 engine chambers, rebar, and steel pipe. So a little bit more expensive, but you'll see here when we get this going that it actually produces more. So this is a pretty, you could get into this pretty easy. You don't need steel. You don't need a lot of things. And then the fuel it takes is creosote oil. So that is wonderful because you can produce that without having to go get oil. You don't have to refine that oil. You can just, build a coal coke oven, excuse me, and get that creosote oil, right? So if we turn these on now, this is something that I didn't point out in the last one because I didn't realize it, but you can actually change the strength of these and it'll actually change the speed. Now, again, I was just using switches before, so I missed that one. So if I turn this up, you'll actually see that the speed goes up as well as the efficiency changes. So I've actually found that I think 12 speed gives you the most efficiency, which means the most bang for your buck, right? But you'll notice that the stress units actually don't go up either, right? So if you go this all the way to the full 15, we're getting 1,125 stress units, which is pretty nice for a compact little engine, and only requiring creosote, right? So if we come in here, we do the same for the gas one, we'll see that we're getting exactly twice, right? So we're getting 2,250 stress units just from this compact little thing. And I also put a speedometer on here so we can see that we're getting it at 112.5 RPMs, which is the same over there. The next thing that was added is the radial engine and the large radial engine. So if we take a look at these, they're actually made with the custom mechanical crafting recipe, which is just 8 of these engine chambers all around the edge. You've got the exhaust also built into these. So that's another thing, is it's compact in that regards. The steel pipe, a shaft, heavy machinery, and you actually do need a bucket of lubrication oil. You can't build this till you've gotten a little bit farther, and then you've also done some refining. The large one is a little bit more expensive. You see it's got the steel mechanisms in it. It's got a heavy plate. It's actually got 4 heavy plates and 2 steel mechanisms more than this one, right? Additionally, some more pipes and an extra exhaust. So a little bit more expensive, but as you'll see, we'll get more out of it. The other difference between these two is that the small one runs off gasoline and the large one runs off kerosene. So it's also nice you can build both of these and get value out of it because you're processing those. You're using the gasoline for one, and you're producing kerosene. You can actually still utilize that. How these work is you need to create this the input by clicking on the edge of the motor here with a wrench, and it'll create the little input for it. Struggled with that for a second until I realized watching Ponder is amazing. And then you power this redstone to this block here, and it does the exact same thing as the other engines. So if you see 1, it's going to go up. Well, it says 0, but it's good at 1. Let's turn this all the way up. The speed thing must be broken. But as you can see, I'm getting 12,000 stress units, and it's just a small block size. Doesn't require the exhaust, and it runs off gasoline. So some huge value to this. Again, I think I haven't done the exact numbers on the efficiency differences between all the engines. That's a super nerdy thing that I absolutely love doing, and I probably will do at some point, but I haven't yet for this. Once I get to my survival world and try to actually put it in practice, that's when I tend to do that kind of stuff. So the same thing with the large one. You're just going to click this side, and you can do it on any side, right? We'll turn this on. And the speed's not there either. Anyway, we're getting 16,000. So, you know, for a few extra resources, we're getting an additional 4,000 stress units, which can be extremely valuable, though it's not a huge impact, right? We're about a quarter the size bigger. You know, that's going to be it for this. The updates, the only other changes that were really made is there were some changes to textures. I didn't go into which those were. You'll see them or you won't. Probably won't even notice them. And then additionally, the oil deposits got fixed. One of the problems I had when I was setting up my tutorial last time is that the oil deposits, they spawned in kind of a flat bedrock version. And so any bedrock that spawned on top of it actually blocked it. So you had to kind of get lucky and you could find a deposit that didn't have it. Those are all fixed now, so you shouldn't run into that anymore. So again, if you haven't watched my previous video, I go into detail on all of the different aspects of this mod, so go check it out. And it's got chapters, so if you're looking for a specific thing, you can go to the specific chapters. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this update, and hopefully this answers some questions people had about the Pumpjack. And we'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you.